sir. Our next speaker today is a distinguished individual with many accolades to his name, Dr. Sanjeev Chopra. I'm just deviating a little from the script. Dr. Chopra climbed up the stage, came to me, and said, "You're doing a good job." There was no need, but it speaks volumes about that person. It's not easy to appreciate. Dr. Chopra, an IS officer from the 1985 batch, hails from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. He is the former director of the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration and the author of the acclaimed book, We, the People of the States of Bharat, The Making and Remaking of India's Internal Boundaries, published in 2022. A prolific writer, book reviewer, and recipient of various fellowships, a man surrounded by books. He is also the patron and honorary consultant of the Valley of Words International Literary Festival held annually in Dehradun. In addition to his administrative expertise, Dr. Chopra is a prolific contributor to the print.in and a passionate advocate for intellectual engagement. Sir, we are privileged to have you with us. May I request you to please address the gathering?
Thank you so much for your kind words. The director of IGNFA and my very dear friend Jagmohan, Lokesh, who's spoken so eloquently and so well that it's difficult to follow him, and Ms. Abha Taplial Gandhi. She also brought to us the entire nuance of what a debate should be, of how writing should be. And it's very important that we have so many thoughts that are coming together today. One of the first things is, the significance of writing well, the significance of organizing your thoughts, the ability to speak what you think is right in a manner which does not offend the other person, and you get your point of view across straight to the point. I think that's very important, and especially when we look into the history of the constitution of a country, we find that there were so many people who were contributing to the debate about India, to the debate about India's constitution. And we had such a wide spectrum of people, such a wide spectrum of thoughts. You see, if you look at the Indian National Congress, and when I talk about the Indian National Congress, we're talking about the Indian National Congress till 1947, till such time as it became a political party which contested for political power in the country. That was the political party which had Acharya Narendra Dev on one hand, it had Acharya Kriplani, it had M.N. Roy, it had Muhammad Ali Jinnah, it had everybody, Madan Mohan Malviya. You name it and the person was there. And each of those persons was giving a point of view. And that point of view was a very organized point of view. In fact, if one was to read the speeches of the presidents of the Indian National Congress from 1885 to 1947, it's a remarkable treatise on what can be written, what can be done. In his memoirs, Surendranath Banerjee, who became the president of the Indian National Congress twice, he said that he went to a hill station called Giridih, not Giridih, I'm forgetting the name, one of the hill stations, Ranchi perhaps, in Bihar, with a trunk load of books because he wanted to write the presidential address for the Indian National Congress. Now that is how people thought, how people wrote, and how people organized their thoughts. And as we saw in the debate which Lokesh and I and Mr. Gildial and Mr. Kirola were there, it was very important to see how the arguments are being structured. Because as Mrs. Gandhi said, it is all right to have a set of arguments, but those set of arguments have to be placed logically. Everything must follow a particular logic. It must follow a particular pattern, because if we do not follow things in a certain pattern, the entire argument will not emerge. The argument will not be able to have the impact that it needs to have. At the end of the day, the purpose for an essay or the purpose for a debate is to convey your point of view across in the most logical manner, in a manner which is pleasing and a manner in which one connects to the other. There are a lot of people who have a lot of ideas, But if those ideas are not put across properly, then the plot is lost. In fact, what is the difference between a great chef and an ordinary cook? I mean, the ingredients are the same. It is the same set of ingredients which makes you a Michelin chef, and the same set of ingredients which makes it very ordinary cooking. The difference between an ordinary dish and a star dish is the way you have curated it. You know, it was not that Shakespeare or Kalidas or Tulsidas ji or Shiv Batalvi or any one of the present authors is using a different set of words. It is the same set of words which come from the same 26 alphabets of the English language, 39, 40 in Hindi, 35 in Punjabi. It is the same set of 26 alphabets which constitute words. And it is the same set of words which is used to define or to explain many things. But some words can explain a thing so beautifully. Some words can, mesmerize you. Some words can bring about the entire pen picture before you. And then there are words which are just a bit of a jumble. The quality of a great essayist, the quality of a great debater, and if I could say the quality of a great lawyer, is to be able to project his arguments in the right manner. When I was hearing Lokesh, I was reminded of the time when one often has to sit in various tribunals and in various fora, where a lot of material comes before you. Sometimes you know that the person who is speaking is better. I mean, the case of the case is better on side A. But if the side A has not been able to present all the facts to the presiding officer is bound to go not by what his emotion says, but by what the ratio of the argument says. So, as budding lawyers, as budding students, you must understand that emotion is one aspect. We must be committed to causes, but as important as the commitment to a cause is the logical argument for that cause. It's very important to say that I want to protect and I want to save the environment, but it is equally important. It is equally important to marshal all the facts. And when you begin to marshal facts, then you have to see how do you develop that argument. Are you marshalling facts in terms of the next 2 years or 3 years or 4 years? Are you marshalling facts on the basis of history? How are you marshalling those facts? And in fact, the very first book which led to the environmental revolution, Silent Spring, which a reference to that had been made in the debate also. What was the beauty of that book? The beauty of that book was that rather than say that this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, you have to point out this is bad because of this, 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 this. So rather than say that, liquor on the highways is bad, if you were to supplement it by saying that these are the number of accidents that have taken place because of this, if one could juxtapose the fallouts of certain implications, then the things. And what happens also is that, Lokesh just made a mention of artificial intelligence and about truth and about post-truth. The point is that these are instruments which are now available to both sides. What I would like to argue is that AI is not available only to one set of people. AI is available to you, AI is available to your opponent. Language is available to you, language is available to your opponent. Therefore, our job is to marshal all the facts, all the possible consequences, put them together, and then present our argument. I'm very glad that what Himanshu and the Karam Bhumi Foundation are doing is to stimulate amongst the youth of Uttarakhand, stimulate in the youth of Uttarakhand the same passions which Pandit Bhairav Dutt Thapliyalji had. In my research on Lal Bahadur Shastri, I realized the very creative ways in which they were disseminating revolutionary literature. Who could have thought that revolutionary literature could be packaged within Hanuman Chalisa? So that was the way in which, in order to avoid detection, in order to avoid police surveillance, you bring in your revolutionary material in Hanuman Chalisas. So that, in fact, I'm looking forward to getting a copy of that extant Hanuman Chalisa, if ever. That will be a remarkable case, that will be remarkable. And that is something, which now this generation of students of history have to understand, that we got to acknowledge and understand that this freedom that we have today is not a gift from anyone. Nobody can be gifted freedom. Freedom is something that has to be taken. And once freedom is there, we have to continue with our freedom. And the best way to continue with that freedom is the power of idea, is the power of debate, the power of arguing logically, and the power of conveying what you have to convey in a manner which is also very pleasing. So I'll close by conveying to you something which happened a few, about 4 years ago at the LBS Academy. The young IAS officer who had graduated from Pantnagar University, she said that everything is, I said, how's Pantnagar? She says, everything is fine except that the curfew rules are different for boys and girls. I said, oh, something must be done. She said, you must do something more. I said, yes, something must be done about it. So I thought, what should be done about it? So one option is to, pick up the phone and tell the vice chancellor that, look, this is not fair. You must, you must not do this. Second is you can talk to the district magistrate. You can do many things. But I thought, let's do something different. So I wrote a letter to the vice chancellor, which I said that I must thank you and compliment you for the care and concern that you have for the girls on the campus. I'm a bit worried that the same courtesies are not being extended to the boys on the campus because perhaps they are more vulnerable, likely to have many more accidents, likely to engage in behavior that might land them in greater trouble. Therefore, I would expect that the same courtesies and same concern is extended to the boys in the Pantnagar Agriculture University. The result, as you know, was obvious. Thank you very much.